episode of Yarn and Shenanigans with Amy and Kristin. We are here again at the yurt for exciting reasons. And this is the first podcast of 2022 for a whole host of shenanigans.
I know.
My birthday obviously was the first week of the year, so we didn't do it then. Because I really just wanted to be in pajamas the whole weekend. It was amazing. Like, forget parties. I just wanted cake and pajamas. And then I ended up with bronchitis, which was awful. I don't know if anyone's ever had that. It was my first time ever. Yeah. And no thank you. I was taking like a COVID test like every 3 hours because I was sure that I had COVID. And I was like, I don't know where I got COVID from. I'm not gone anywhere. But yeah, bronchitis. I had to go to urgent care virtual visit twice. My insurance just loves me right now because I'm already starting out the new year with a bang. And after like 6 prescriptions, I'm no longer coughing. So that was fun. And then Tom was sure that he was going to get bronchitis, and he got like the sniffles, and he was done after a day. And I was just like, whatever, Tom.
It's never fair.
It's never fair. And then so that was January in review by Amy. The yarn not buying is still going successfully. I'm pretty proud of myself because I almost broke it twice. 3 times. There have been 3 times where I've been like, I really want that yarn. Angela sent me yarn and a sweater pattern that she was thinking of making, and it was this beautiful like blue with like brown speckles in it. And apparently I'm on a brown kick.
You are so on a brown
I don't
kick.
even know. So I was like, man, I'd really like that sweater in that color of blue. We could have matching sweaters, but I didn't do it. Kristin bought yarn that I was looking at. I didn't do it. I was good. And then there was this whole other, oh my God, you guys, I put it in my cart. I was so in love with it. And I was like, okay, it was a reasonable price. It was $40. But then it was coming from Europe, and it was $40 more for shipping. And I was like, nope, reasonable Amy, who just got a really good raise at work at the end of the year, not going to do it. I'm going to steadfast.
That's the thing with European things, is that they're beautiful, but shipping just doubles the price nowadays. So.
What we need is a friend in Europe who will buy yarn for us and then just ship it. Like maybe once a year we just get a big box of yarn from Europe. I don't know. It really, I struggled. I ended one of my sock yarn clubs that I love, you guys. I didn't renew until January, and I had to quit it because it was January. I wasn't buying any yarn. But the other one I did in December. So it didn't count. Doesn't count. So that one's still coming to me. Thank goodness, Freckled Whimsy. So I'll be getting 1 skein a month that I've already purchased and paid for the whole year. So that's it. And then presents don't count for that. So Kristin did buy me yarn for my birthday, and I have it as my one acquisition. But it's been a little bit of a struggle, you guys. I did manage to finish 2 big projects, which was great. I guess bronchitis when you can't leave the bed and you're hacking up along. Yannette till 3 o'clock in the morning because you can't fall asleep. So I did get our sweaters finished. Kristin's wearing hers. And I got my garter stitch shawl beautifulness done. We'll see that later. And how's your 2022 been?
Busy. Omicron has made sure that I had plenty of work. So have been working very, very hard with that. And the big news is that in February, I will be getting a total hip replacement.
I signed up for Kristin, you guys.
So I get to sit on my butt and not do anything for weeks. I'm out of work for 6 weeks, so we'll be getting some knitting done.
I'm going to come sit and knit with you.
Okay.
And keep you company.
That's fine.
So we'll be recording from the yurt and not my upstairs office for a little bit longer, and that's okay. Weeks. Yeah. Till Kristin's ready to tackle stairs.
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. We had technical problems. So yes, Kristen's passion was triathlons, and she's amazing at it. And I'm looking forward to coming cheering for you.
They're fun. It's a great time to have with friends, and I haven't been able to do it for a few years, so now I have all sorts of plans to start training again this year, and then next year we'll get back into the races. So I'm looking forward to it.
And plus, I'll finally be able to keep up with your knitting because you'll be doing other stuff too. And I'll finally be like, no, I gotta stash knit through so I can speed knit again. So yeah. That's been us, and that's an update on our 2022.
So let's talk about the things that we brought that we've knit in the past. So what is Lieutenant Commander Data wearing there, Amy?
Oh, so Lieutenant Commander Data is wearing my Lilli Pilli by Amba O'Brien. I actually knit this to go with my sister's wedding. It was her maid of honor, and her dress was, or her bridesmaids' dresses were this, and they're all sleeveless, and I was just like,
not your idea of the time.
No. So I knit this to match perfectly with that.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I really like it. I apparently have an observed number of burgundy and this color thing. So everyone laughs I'm so coordinated when I wear it because it's like burgundy pants and this color top, or burgundy pants and that color top. I love it. So yes, I do love this. The burgundy is La Bien Amy. Yarn. The white is just Madeline Tosh Farmhouse White, my favorite. And I do not know what color this is. It's just very pretty. This is probably like
it's a very pretty yarn is what it is.
It is very pretty. So
yes.
It's also laced. You guys know how I feel about that. So it was a lot of garter stripes, and then I got to this and cried. I might have ripped out quite a bit, but thank goodness for lifelines. And then it's only a little bit of pop in there, and then you get back to whatever. But this was a very fun knit. So I like. Gorgeous. She's one of those designers where I could knit all of her things and like love. So yeah, look her up. Kristen's gonna post her name here, and I'll put the link to the pattern and YouTube. Well, Kristen will put the link to YouTube on YouTube, and we will. You should check out her patterns because they are phenomenal. And I just want to knit through all of them. So she's one of those designers. So, what you got, Kristen?
So this one I made several years ago. The sad thing is I can't remember the name. But here I will be putting up the name because I'll be looking it up once I get home. It is a shawl that I made. It's a rectangular stole.
So pretty.
So each edge is a little bit different.
Right there.
And then you have a leaf edge up here. Mm-hmm. And this is made out of Sublime.
There's the bob.
And it's very long because I made it extra long.
I love it.
And it's very comfy. So I enjoyed knitting this. It took a long time, glad when it was over. But it was a lot of fun, and I really liked it's very non-symmetrical.
I do too.
And so that was one of the reasons that I really enjoyed doing this. And I love that little leaf edge at the top there.
Yeah, that detail is so pretty.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous knit. So for a stole, it's really fun.
Yeah, really like this.
Enjoyed that.
Do you remember what yarn this was?
Sublime.
Sublime, that's right.
Sublime DK.
It has a nice, it's heavy and like,
it's got a nice
but
weight
it's
to it.
not heavy where you feel like weighted down, but it enough to hug you.
Right, it has a nice weight to it. And there's enough of it, as you can see, I made it quite long, that I can wrap it around myself. I'm a big girl, so I like to have, enough to feel like I can wrap it around several times. So that's one of my old knits, knit several years ago. And you're wearing what?
I know I was gonna wear my Garnered, you guys, but I wore it and I decided to wash it. It was laid out flat to reblock it after I hand washed it, and it just didn't get dry.
It's gorgeous.
So pretty. There's a picture on Instagram you guys saw that I just love it. It's like the perfect sweater.
But what are you wearing now?
Okay, I'm gonna stand up. This is my Wednesday sweater. This yarn, I found the yarn first before I found the sweater. It's called Pink Sprinkle. If there was ever a yarn that I needed to own, it was this. by We Are Knitters. It's not a yarn that I have ever used. You guys, it's 100% wool. It's a little warm, but it's 38 degrees here, so we're fine. Oh yeah, that was the other reason we didn't record, because we had snow.
The last 2 weekends.
2 weekends. We had snow yesterday, too, but it was like
so
sad
this is the
snow.
third weekend of snow, but it was just a dusting and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah,
Last weekend,
we had like 3 inches at my house. That's like crazy. So
our winter in North Carolina has lasted longer than 5 minutes. It's quite impressive.
I've worn sweaters at least 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do in this. I was like, I'm running out of outfits. So since it's cold, I was like, this is perfect. But yeah, this sweater calls for wool and mohair, and there was just no way. I'd be like this, like, oh, I'm so hot. Someone fan me. But I love this.
It's a beautiful sweater.
You guys, my Garnered, I made the turtleneck version of. I like that just because I feel like I can always when this is actually not a bad idea for COVID. Like put a mask on and
as long as you have an actual mask.
Double mask here. Might have to think about this. So, it's really nice, and it's just big and fluffy, and I wish I'd probably gone up a size just to make it super big and fluffy, but it fits. It has a good fit to it, so I like it. What about you and your Garnered?
So I'm wearing the Garnered.
Yes,
Let's see if I can.
We're gonna tilt down a little bit. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So this is my Garnered. I made the linen option. There's a linen and a wool option, and so this is the Remix Chunky from Baroku. It's cotton and linen and silk. And so the linen option, you don't put on the turtleneck, and you also don't put on the ribbing.
Yeah,
my sleeves end without ribbing, and the body ends without ribbing. But I really like it. It's incredibly comfortable. It's a lot of fun to wear, and I think that it looks nice and it looks fancy.
It does look fancy. And Kristin's version, because it doesn't have that turtleneck, is amazing for summer. Right. And for fall, this is going to be great because it's not going to be too...
So it's really nice that, it's lace, and yes, I'll be wearing something underneath of it, but you can wear a little top underneath of it, and you can change the colors. So, and that was one of the reasons I like the gray, is that I could actually... I could put a pink top underneath, or I can put a green top, or something kind of fun, and it's light enough to be able to wear most of the year.
Everything I put underneath mine made them look like Halloween stuff. I was okay with. I will say that I did block it and it ran. I had quite a lot of yarn dye in my water.
Well, thank goodness that was only one color.
Yeah, I looked at it. I was like,
it's a lot of loss.
It's a lot of orange in my sink, but it was okay. Yep. It's all one color.
It worked out.
So yeah.
So we got this done. Let's get your shawl going.
Oh, okay. You guys know how I love about the ends, so don't mentally prepare yourself for that.
Right. Turn it this way. There we go.
Oh no, that's the back.
Oh, that's the back. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
My Around the Blend is done.
Here we go. Yay!
Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I'm still coughing. So would I knit this again? No. Did I like that I knitted this? Yes. So it's really pretty. I mean, it's phenomenal pretty. This is Miss Babs yarn. It's a Miss Babs pattern. It's just garter stitch, you guys. And you get done with one triangle and you're like, oh. And then you knit the second triangle and you're like, oh. And then you get to the third triangle, which is the middle one, where you attach everything, and it is a delight and a treasure to knit because you're doing decreases at that point, nice. So it goes super fast at the end.
Right.
But you guys, look at all my ends.
Yep, she's got a lot of ends to weave. Oh, there we go.
They're everywhere.
I offered, she won't let me move in for her.
After when Kristin's stuck in bed, you guys, and she's like, I'm so bored, I might bring this over to her. I may regret that, but the pattern does have you include, you guys can see, they're kind of all ready.
Right.
I just have to snip them. So some of them, most of them are like that, but
there's some that aren't.
Not all of them.
You'll do well.
I'll do it.
Sit in front of the football. The Olympics are coming.
Oh, that's true. Maybe
Olympics are
my
coming.
Olympic pattern will be weaving in.
Yes, that is the perfect time to weave in ends.
That
Is when you're
is.
watching the Olympics. It's coming, people, this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
No, next weekend.
I think it's weekend after.
Yeah, yep.
It's the weekend of the Super Bowl.
Right, uh-huh.
So that's not this weekend or the next weekend.
No, it's the 9th.
Oh, then it's next weekend. Okay. I thought it was the weekend of the Super Bowl.
Anyway, it's coming up really close, and I'm excited. So you've got that done, and so then I have
Kristin
this
put
done.
snacks right in front of my face. It was a little rude about it, and I have to eat it.
So this is called the Decemberist. This is by Melanie Berg, and I made this using just acrylic from Michaels, and I'm really bleached out at that point.
I know that really.
I know.
Here we go.
There
Better
we go.
colors.
There we go.
I'll look like this.
So this is the Decemberist. My friend, I talked her into making this with me, and she's making this out of a solid color, out of a wool. It's her first lace pattern, so I decided to get it done first so I could help her out. I did add a repeat on, so there's one additional lace repeat than what the pattern calls for. But I did this in 2 days because we had snow days and I wasn't doing anything else. So I used up yarn and got it done. So yeah, so that's the Decemberist. It's a really nice,
So pretty.
good lace pattern. And so Amy was feeling this and she said, "What yarn did you use?" And I said, "Acrylic." And she's like, "That's really soft." And a lot of people like to be yarn snobs and say, "I'll never use acrylic." But let me tell you, this feels really super soft.
It does. It has a nice streak to it.
And it has a really nice drape to it. Now, because this is acrylic, I killed the yarn. So when I blocked this, I went ahead and I pinned it out to where I wanted it. I blocked it till it squealed. And then I took a wet rag, put it right on top of the yarn, and I ironed on top of it.
This method is not for the faint of heart because you are literally melting plastic if you go a little too much.
You are. It did flatten the yarn a little bit, but because this is lace and I wanted it to stay open, I was willing to do that to keep the lace open. So I think that it looks all right. I don't think that you can tell that I've killed it too much.
No.
But the lace is now going to stay nice and open. I'm not going to have problems with it closing down. And after I blocked it, I then threw it in the washer and the dryer just to kind of soften it up. And I think that it looks great. So this will be a lot of fun to wear. I'm looking forward to it once I get to wear something besides
And it matches
uniforms.
your hair.
It matches my hair. So I got that done. And then, as the saying goes, the cobbler's family has no shoes. My husband I saw my husband working in his office. He works at home. He works from a home office. We are renowned for having an incredibly cold house. So I saw him working, and then I looked at his hands, and I made these fingerless mitts for him a long, long time ago.
You should put them onto model.
And
the whole of amazingness.
And I saw this, and I'm like, "Darling, what happened?" And he's like, "Well, you can fix that, can't you?" And I'm like, "I could, or I could just make you a new pair." And he's like, "Oh, I think that you can just fix them." Now, I made these so long ago that they're not knit in the round, they're seamed up because I wasn't knitting in the round yet. That's how long ago these were made. So he's worn the bejesus out of these mitts. These are 100% wool, but they're pilling and all sorts of stuff. And of course we have holes and what have you. So I said, everything stops, we make the hubby new mitts. So I got out my Point Edward mitts. They're my favorite ones to make. And I altered them to fit what he wanted. And of course I didn't measure my yarn sufficiently. This was leftover yarn. So we have a design element going on. But so I got these done in a couple days, and he's a old-time hippie. So he enjoys rainbow, just like I do. And this is yarn that Miss Amy gave me one time for my birthday, I think.
I dyed it. Yes.
She hand dyed the rainbow. And then this is Kezi that I just filled in. So these are his new mitts. And he seems to like them. So hopefully they'll last him another few more years.
That's a DK weight pattern, isn't it?
That is a DK weight.
Yeah, I can remember. I knew that was DK yarn.
It's a great pattern. It's free. It's very simple. Usually it's made so that the fingers are much longer and the wrist is much longer and the thumb is longer so that you can fold them over or fold them back. But he wanted them short because he's on the computer all the time. So I just adjusted the pattern.
That was really nice.
Yeah. I felt really bad when I saw. I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, just fix them. They'll be fine. I just making some new ones, sweetie.
Boys.
I know. Let's see. Have we hit everything?
Our works in progress.
We need works in progress now.
Yeah. So you guys, I just finished my garnered and then around the blend, and then I told myself I could knit 2 socks in 4 days. It's the 29th, and I have about half of 1 sock done.
I'm surprised you're not doing 2 at a time.
Okay, well, I was going to talk about that.
Okay, sorry.
So there it is. This is Yesteryear by Freckled Whimsy. I love this. This color combination. It's so good. So good. So why didn't I do 2 at a time? Because first I had been drinking. Second, I decided these needed a navy blue toe. And it was 11:30 at night. So yeah, I was like, oh, and my navy blue was I only had 1 skein of it, and I didn't feel like splitting it. So I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna do 1 at a time. So that's all my excuses, Kristin. I was drunk. It was 11:30 at night, and I only had 1 skein of the navy blue that I didn't want to split.
Because I always attempt new projects when I'm drunk at 11:30 at night. This is when I start all my projects.
No, I didn't have, listen y'all, I didn't have glasses on. I was just, listen, January, it's just not been my month. That bronchitis really took me for a thrill, so I'm making up all my drinking after that. So, yeah, I was drinking. I was just like, I want navy blue toes.
You're an amazing knitter drunk, because if I'm drunk,
I know. Look at how even
I can't do anything.
Look at how even my stitches are.
I can't even imagine.
I cannot
imagine.
Yeah. Luckily, this was already wound. This was not. So I literally had a skein of yarn just laying flat on the bed. I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I need this. I need to get these done. I felt pretty good about it. But yeah, I think I'm probably almost at my heel, because you guys know I have tiny, short feet. I'm pretty close to it.
I am amazed at the knitting.
Look, sometimes even I like amaze myself, but really I did not do 2 at a time because of the toe. Like I was like, that's too much going on with the wine and the 11:30, and it's dark in my bedroom, and I just was going for it. So yeah, probably not going to finish January socks. I have all day tomorrow to knit, and I have knitted a pair of socks in a weekend. So I'm up to the challenge, you guys.
There you go.
I might do it. I got tonight. I got tomorrow's football.
Turn on your Netflix binge tonight.
I might do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's been busy. Tom and I have been like, there's just been stuff going on. With all the snow, I decided to tackle like my pantry, and then I couldn't find my tennis shoes in my closet, and I decided I needed to clean out the closet, and that took a whole weekend because you guys, I have a lot of shoes, and I'm a short person, so I can't get to the top of my shelf, so I had to deal with that, and that took a whole week. I was mentally tired after the closet situation. I donated like 6 bags of shoes and clothes.
Wow.
So I feel pretty good about that. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I still have like a ton of clothes. I'm not suffering. So yeah, there we go.
Alrighty. So last time I talked about my trying to find the right colors for the tea house.
Yes.
And I went through a couple different color things and nothing was coming out the way I wanted it to look. So I'd come up with an idea and I thought that I would share it with you this week. So I fell in love with a skein of yarn, and it is by Megan Nicole, and her brand is called Threads.
Her yarn, you guys.
And I will
her colors are just
put up pictures. And this yarn was called Rainbow Bright, and I'm going to put up a picture of the skein I fell in love with. It is gorgeous. The intensity of her colors is amazing. So at one point, Amy bought this skein for me, and I absolutely
I feel like
love.
You're a rainbow yarn dealer.
You are. You're my dealer. And rainbow is just like a color, right? Just the way it is. So I love rainbow. It's one of my favorite colors. And the intensity in this is so gorgeous. But I had one skein, and I don't knit socks. And I'm like, what am I going to do with it? So when this tea house thing came up, and I was going through my stash looking for yarn, I'm like, oh. So in the tea house pattern, and this pattern is by Sierra. I have to find the right name.
Is that Porcel?
Now, Sierra, I spelled it badly. Kreun. We'll put the name up. You need 2 skeins of the main color, 1 skein of the other color, 400 yards and 800 yards, and it's some fingering. So I had 1 skein, and I thought this would be the perfect time to show off the colors. And what would be the perfect colorway to show off with, I thought, was white. So I went ahead and I bought white yarn, just white fingering, and this is the skein wound up.
Completely different.
It does. It
than
does.
it does when it's in the
exactly.
skein.
So this is what it looks like skeined up. And then I've tried to get enough done that you can see. Now you can see with the garter stitch, you kind of lose some of the color, but if Amy will pull that down really tightly, I'm going to block it out like this, and I think it's going to be amazing.
It's just going to blade.
So we're just going to block it until it screams.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all merino sock yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's going to be amazing. But so this is my color experiment. It's all garter. What I've done, if you can see, is that I'm not doing garter in the color. So I'm doing stockinette on those 2 rows, and then the wide is all gartered. I didn't like the way the garter looked in the color, so I just changed the one.
I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, the one row to a purl to make a stockinette. But I think that once I get this done and blocked out till it screams, see if you just pull that out, just look at that. I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
So so this is kind of another way of hacking a pattern, trying to find the right colors, changing it up so it matches what you've got. I've really enjoyed kind of playing with this pattern. It's not the way the pattern looks, and I might, down the road make another one because I like the way it looks in the pattern also. So it's one of those simple patterns that you can do a lot with and you can play with, and have a lot of fun with designing, color designing. And I enjoy patterns like that. That's one of my favorite parts of patterns is color designing. What colors go together, what don't, what kind of look are you getting? So I really enjoy that part. So that's one of my whips. Then my other whip, I wanted to make a vest. I got a little obsessed. I saw someone wear a vest, and I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. So I'm making something called the Duo Knitted Vest by Marcel Porcel. It's a European pattern, and this pattern, I'm going to put a picture of it up here. This pattern, not all European patterns are size restricted, but this one is. It only has 4 sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. And so my size was like just barely within the extra large, not really, kind of I could have squeaked in. But it probably would have been a little bit snug, more snug than I wanted it to be. So I hacked the pattern because I liked it. My sister had chosen not to put yellow in the blanket that I made her, so I had all this yellow yarn left over.
Your glamping, right?
My glamping blanket. So I had all this Barocco vintage chunky left over, and I decided I was going to make this vest with it. It's bigger yarn than it calls for, so I'm getting a larger gauge, so it automatically is growing it just kind of intuitive, just naturally. So this is the back of it.
So pretty. It's like a pretty, I wouldn't call this mustard yellow and I wouldn't call this butter yellow, but it's like a blend of the two. It's so pretty.
It's called Sunshine, I think.
Oh, I could see that. I could see Sunshine.
So this is, this is the front, and now I've worked on the back. I've run into a problem, I hate to admit, but let's all be honest and let our idiosyncrasies hang out. I've never had a problem with tension in my life. My tension's always been pretty, not that it's always spot on gauge, but it doesn't change. I have a very consistent, until I got to this pattern, and I don't know why. Now this pattern is written very uniquely. I've never seen a pattern written like this. So it has 4 sizes. Each size has its own pattern. So I'm doing extra large, so I have 2 pieces of paper that's just extra large. No other sizes are on it. Then within the extra large, you can have directions for flat, knitting it flat, or knitting it in the round. And those are completely separate too. I've never seen this in a pattern.
It's like a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I understand why it's that way.
Right.
I can't wrap my mind on if I love it or hate it.
But
it seems unnecessary, but also seems very helpful. So
it's very interesting in that there are some things that are really written out in detail and other things that are assumed.
Okay.
So for like decreases, like every row is written out. Whereas ribbing is just like do 1 by 1 ribbing for X number of centimeters. So it's a European pattern. It's well done. It's just done very differently than what I'm used to. So it's kind of interesting to work through. So I picked the knitting in round until you get up to the arms and then you split. And then you're working back and forth. I'm doing the back first. And I will show you how it doesn't look good. If you can see, there's an obvious tension issue. So I think what's happening after I've looked at it.
I feel bad pointing out your flaws.
I know, it's all right. I mean, we all get to have flaws, right? Is my purling is looser than my knitting.
Beautiful. I also have this problem where my purling is looser than my knitting.
See, and I've never had this before, and I don't know if it's, I'm just not watching it, if it's the yarn. I mean, the yarn is beautiful, don't get me wrong. So I'm ripping it out. So we're gonna rip it back out to where,
like right here?
Yep, yeah. We're gonna rip it out, and I'm gonna be really, really super conscious about the tension to make it better. Now the other thing that they're doing is, instead of doing SSKs, they're doing slip one, knit one, PSSO. And I didn't like the way it looked. The knit 2 together on the other side looked great. The PSSO, not so great. So I changed it to an SSK, and the SSK looks much better. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna change their PSSOs to SSKs. I just like the look of it much better. And I can show you actually how the look changes.
Your needle's gone through. There you go.
So the bottom here, that's the PSSO. And then up here, this is the SSKs.
Oh yeah.
And I like the SSK look up here much better than I like the PSSO down here. So we're just going to change everything to a SSK. So we're going to undo that, watch my tension, try to figure out why I'm purling so loosely, I'm not really sure why, and redo it. And, I think we all run into issues. And, there was a part of me that says, you don't want to put that on the blog and look like you don't know how to knit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to admit to not being perfect. You kind of want to present that. That's what we get used to in social media, is always presenting the perfect side. And I'm like, the reality is that we all have crap that we deal with, and things change, and we're not perfect. And I think it's much more honest to show when you screw up.
Yeah.
So I screwed up. So we're going to undo that, and hopefully maybe next time this is going to be done.
So pretty. Yeah, I cut the bind off of my Garnered stitch and lost like 4 stitches right here where you can see them on the shoulder, but I fixed them after it locked. It looks beautiful.
I have my friend who is learning how to do lace, has all sorts of concerns about mess ups and then fixing and stuff. And, I kept saying, this particular thing, everybody screws up on, and everybody messes up on it. And it happens, there's nothing you can do for it not to mess up. It's just going to happen. Yeah. You have to know how to fix it. And that's what a lot of life is about. Just knowing that it's okay to screw up and admit to screwing up and then saying, okay, now I get to fix this.
Yeah.
So those are my whips and acquisitions. What'd you get?
Oh, okay. Well, this doesn't count against my not buying yarn because
Nope.
it's a gift. This is my birthday gift from Kristin. I love it. Don't know what it's going to be yet. It's a Manos Your Way Pheno, which I think might be a sport weight, but don't quote me on that.
No, let's see.
3 to 5.
3
so
to
yeah,
5.
sport.
Yep.
That's scary that I know these things.
It's merino and
Sure.
silk.
It's beautiful. I love these colors. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna find a project for this. Not that I don't have ridiculous large stuff to go through. And so like I knitted a bunch of cowls last year, and I was thinking that I was gonna use some of the leftover yarn to make a hat to match or something. I don't know. That's gonna be my next week's
Nice.
progress.
Because we're going to have snow again next week, right?
I think so. Probably.
We're having snow every
I
weekend.
think they said Wednesday we had another chance.
Are you
It's
serious?
crazy. I don't even know.
Oh my gosh, I was
I
just
don't even
making that
know.
up.
I know, but I
So-
think Wednesday it's happening. So yeah,
I thought that the temperatures are getting warmer.
I don't know. It changes like every day. Like last week, it was like there's no chance of snow and it'll be trays, and then like 2 hours before it starts to snow, go buy milk. We're going to die. Like okay. Also, why are milk and eggs? Because they're like the two
And bread.
most
Bread, milk,
perishable
and eggs.
things. Like French toast. You're gonna
Yeah.
make French toast over the grill when you don't have electricity because of the ice. So when I was little, I grew up in Memphis. We had an ice storm that our power was out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal, you know. Like people like relive their memories of the ice storm. And like I remember like we had aunts who'd like cook over their fireplace. And I'm just like I mean, I guess you can always put your milk outside because it's like 20 degrees and that's great. But like what do you do like with all those eggs? Like
No idea.
I saw this thing on Facebook where they're like Southerners versus Midwesterns, and Midwesterns are like make a casserole, and you know then you have put your groceries outside, and you know Southerners are like, oh God, we gotta like stay inside and hunker down. And even now everyone's like posting all these snow and ice pictures and they're beautiful, and I'm like, I'm not going outside to take a picture. It's cold. Sorry, I'm not wearing pajama pants right now. Like leave me alone. Yeah. So bad. So I'm not meant for snow and ice. I like it. Like I think last week's snow was pretty than the ice that we got the week before, because we got a week of ice and then last week was snow because it was actual snow and there was no ice. So like as soon as the snow melted,
It was fun.
it was fine.
Yeah.
But like we had to I worked from home on Monday the first week because it was all like ice.
Yeah.
And it was like ice and then snow and then ice. And like it took like 4 days for my driveway. Like I couldn't get back into my driveway.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Nope.
I like snow when I am prepared for it. And when the people around me are prepared. Like I lived in Colorado and I've lived in the Midwest, and you know, I enjoy snow if you're ready for the snow and you've got the clothing for it and the stuff you need to deal with it. But when you don't, it's not great.
I don't have a shovel, like an ice shovel or
We
snow
have
shovel.
a shovel, but that's only because I have dogs with legs this long.
Oh.
So we have to make sure they have a place to go to the bathroom.
Roscoe's light enough that he like hovers above everything. He looks like Legolas going out there walking about, and Max like sunk in, but Max doesn't care because he's got all that fur. So
he's all
he's like, whatever, I'm cool. So he'll go. We just had to clear off the stairs for him because he couldn't get back up. So bless his little heart.
We had quite the adventure with Princess. So it snowed. It was the middle of snowing. I got up in the morning, and big rectangle, I cleared out so it was just mud, so there wasn't snow, so that she could go to the bathroom because I knew she wasn't going to touch the snow. Oh no! I put her out there. I even played dodge dog, like you're not getting in until you squat. She was not having it. It didn't matter how many times we tried to put her out there. Turned around, came right back in. John took her out there on a leash. Refused to do anything. I'm just like, we're just gonna have to watch the rugs in the bathroom because that's her favorite bathroom when she doesn't go outside. Is like, just when they get wet, there we go. And about 4:15 in the afternoon, we let the dogs out, and she went out willingly. And she squatted, but she held it till 4:15 in the afternoon from the day before.
That's a dachshund for you.
And she didn't go in the house, which is a miracle, because she used to just say, screw y'all.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I want. So she didn't go in the house, but boy, did she wait until she was about floating. She was fine. And then after that, we still had snow on the ground for the next few days. After she went out, squatted, decided it wasn't so bad, and we had snow everywhere still, she was out running with the dogs in the snow. Now, she wouldn't stay out there very long. Yeah. But she was fine. Yeah. And she'd go out but to get her, just the first time, to get her out there and to squat, took all day.
Yeah, Roscoe was, so our back deck, we have like a little mat out there for them, and his back legs would be in the house still, and he'd be like outside peeing on the snow on the mat. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it. If that's what I can get out of that poor little dog. But yeah, Maxwell was like frolicking. He's like, oh, whatever, I don't care. And then we, like the nature people that Tom and I are, like we had like apparently a big squirrel that was like frolicking outside. So we were like out there like, is this a raccoon? Is this a squirrel? Is this a rabbit? I'm like, I don't know. Luckily, our doorbell caught it. And, like, you can see the squirrel, like, hopping. Or, yeah, it was, like, hopping. And I was like, oh. But, yeah, Max was out there, like, sniffing. Like, where is this creature? Like, he's a nature dog or something, so.
So, the one acquisitions I have is I decided I have one big Notion bag, and I would take it with me everywhere. And I do travel with my knitting. But it gets big and heavy, and I don't need all of that stuff for a lot of my projects. So I decided I'm just going to get a couple little things to put in tiny little bags to throw in travel bags to go with my projects. Keep the big Notion bag at home where I do my main knitting. So the two things I bought was, these are fantastic. These are great.
They're so cute.
They are so cute.
What did you put out?
Look at that.
It's an octopus.
It's a little octopus snippers. Aren't those cute? These are Hiya Hiya. I got these from our local yarn shop, Tangled Yarn Shop. And I'll take out the little thing so that you can see it. I can't get it open. Here we go. So that's what they're called. They're Hiya Hiya Octopus.
Octopus snips.
And you can get them in dogs and cats. You can get them in multiple colors. I got a purple and I got a green. So, yeah, they're octopus snips. And they're just so cute and just enough to just to snip yarn. And so they're perfect for keeping in an extra bag. The other thing I got, which I absolutely love, is Susan Bates. And this is called the Handy Tool. And it just has a hook on one end. And it has a pointed end on the other. And it's one of my most favorite tools to have, because then I can just pick up a stitch if I need to. And, when you're about to lose a stitch, you've got something pointy to kind of get in there, because my fingers are too big to do it. So love this tool. So I just got some of those to make tiny little bags to put in my travel.
Sorry, I kicked the bucket.
She kicked the bucket
right there
on the blog. I just want to let you know.
Done.
But yeah, so I can just throw a couple things in for travel when I travel with my knitting instead of taking my whole entire Notions bag. So yeah, that was my acquisitions. And I think that's about all I've got.
Yeah, so we'll definitely get another podcast in before Kristen's surgery. And then we're going to play it by ear after that, because Kristen's going to be recuperating. I don't want to be too much for that.
I think it'll be fine. This is an outpatient surgery. I go home the same day.
That's crazy. I love it.
I know.
I love science that they can just here, have a new hip and congratulations, go home.
When I told my husband this, he said, is it drive-through? I said, not yet, but they're working on it. So I go home the same day. I think the first week I'm walking with a walker.
Yeah.
After that, I can walk with a walker or a cane, but they said no physical therapy,
No physical therapy?
No physical therapy unless
Wow.
something goes haywire. They say most people get through this with no physical therapy. The doctor did say because you're a nurse and nurses are bad patients and we have high pain tolerances because I've been living with this for quite some time. He says you get the full 6 weeks out of work. He says, I don't care what you want. He said if you had a desk job and was not a nurse, maybe for weeks, I'd let you go back. But he said, no, not you. You get the full 6 weeks.
He knows. That's good.
Yeah.
You are a little stubborn sometimes, Kristin, about
I have
things,
no idea
so.
what you're talking about. And, but he then said something to me along the lines of, he says, yeah, when I had shoulder surgery, he said, I might have been doing surgery 2 days later. And I said, really?
Oh.
And he said the second surgery went much better.
My hematologist broke his clavicle, got thrown off his mountain bike, broke his clavicle, and I feel like his collar, maybe?
Yeah,
And
that's his clavicle.
he didn't even go to the ER. He was like, I'm fine. I can clearly tell something's broken. What are they going to do? I'll put it in a sling. So he's seeing patients. I might have been the second patient that he saw. And normally he's very nice. And he has this very oh, how are you? And you could tell that he was very short with his nurse. And he was a little less nice to me than he normally is. And Patty was like, and I was like, yeah, he told me he broke his collar or his clavicle.
Yeah.
You can tell that he hurts. But he wouldn't take any pain medicine because he was still seeing patients.
Exactly.
Which, thank you, doctor, for not seeing me on pain medication. I appreciate it. But yeah, she made him go to the doctor. His nurse was like, you gotta go.
So
yeah.
So healthcare professionals may not be the
Stubborn.
best patients.
My mom is the same way, She Yeah. She, lady will break her ankle 4 times. Yeah, I'll go to the doctor next week. It's fine. I got a walker.
So
I'm like, oh, God.
So I'm going to have lots of knitting time coming up. We'll get a lot of stuff done.
Yeah, maybe Kristin will make some poor knitting decisions like I do. Her pain medication. But, I mean, maybe we'll be from a recliner. We never know. We're going to play this by ear. We're going to see how it goes. We may take a little bit of hiatus. Whatever we need. Maybe Kristin and I will do a Zoom where she's at home and I'm at my house, and we'll just have a pajama party podcast.
I think that it's mostly he just wants me to sit, and since we just sit here, I think it won't be a problem. But we'll be here because I'm not.
Yeah,
we're not driving.
My office is upstairs where we record.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kristin's going to be ready to tackle a flight of stairs right off the bat. So we are definitely going to be here. Plus, she's not driving, so yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been great seeing.
We've missed you guys. Yes,
and we've missed you. And sorry it's taken so long, but hello. More than 5 minutes of winter in North Carolina puts us out.
Yes. And sickness and birthday. It's so funny that both of our birthdays are right at Christmas.
Yeah.
And then it worked out great. So yeah. So all right, you guys, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Happy knitting.
Happy knitting.
We'll post updates on Instagram and Facebook on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll have a pair of socks done tomorrow.
Yay.
And yeah. We'll see.
Take care.
All right, bye you guys.
Bye.